wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be.
Welcome to the show. You're one-on-one with Wes the Sports Guy here on YouTube, BitChute, Rumble, and Odyssey, and online all the time at westhesportsguy.com. Make sure you bookmark that site if you want to get all the social media links, the podcast link. Leave a 5-star review if you like what you're listening to in all the various podcast platforms. And you can get that link conveniently located for you at westhesportsguy.com. Normally on this channel, what I do is I don't always delve into the world of sports. There's basically other current event topics, memes that I put in front of videos that I incorporate with sports topics that I put together on the channel, whether it be at YouTube, BitChute, Rumble, or Odyssey. Get those links at westhesportsguy.com. This one is the same thing. I'm delving into the truth. That's what I'm doing now more often, more than ever, really, on social media as well. The truth. And there's a lot of distortions going on out there. And one thing that is definitely at the forefront that affects sports, specifically the women's sports, I don't talk about women's sports a whole lot on here, and that's because it's not at the forefront for myself, but that's not to say that, hey, if you are watching women's sports, various versions of soccer, if it's swimming, tennis, so on and so forth, basketball, that was a big thing that I was somewhat interested in until the BS that was happening after the Women's Final Four basketball tournament. That's kind of disinterested me in ever wanting to watch women's basketball going forward. Do I watch the WNBA? No. I did watch it back in its inaugural season, first 2 seasons. I watched a good bit of it back then. Is it something that piqued my interest going forward? No, it didn't, because, sorry, the product is not that great. But that's just one person's opinion. If you're watching it, that's fantastic. But what's happening nowadays with women's sports in general is there are men who have been men for most, if not their entire life, now saying, I identify or I have transitioned to be a woman, and competing against women after having that biological advantage of being a man, now competing against women and winning and dominating. Example after example, and the latest one, which is why I'm bringing up Riley Gaines, who was a national champion swimmer at the University of Kentucky. She competed on the national stage at the swimming championships for the NCAA last year, competing against a man named William Thomas, who then, after competing for 3 years as a man at the University of Pennsylvania, says, I'm now a woman, changes his name to Leah Thomas, and is winning lots of races against women. It was a big story last year. Now, the one thing that, before I go into what just happened recently with Riley Gaines, how she's been on a speaking tour, advocating for women's sports in that women need to have their own area to compete, to also get changed in, because she said herself, with her other competitors, they were exposed to a naked man in their dressing room. This is the man named Leah Thomas. This is what her account of it is while competing. And she also, by the way, tied Leah Thomas in their race against each other. But the NCAA said, yeah, you know what? We're going to have to give it to him because, optics. This is her account. This is what she's going on a speaking tour about, saving women's sports. And I wholeheartedly agree with her. There needs to be separation. Hey, Title IX's a thing, isn't it? There needs to be separate changing areas for a reason. There are bad actors in this world, whether you want to admit that or not. There are plenty of bad actors that do not want to follow any kind of rules, any kind of decorum whatsoever. There's a lot of them. But the one thing that we need to absolutely not have any dispute in is the fact that both men and women are biologically different in very distinct ways. Men have higher bone density. The level of testosterone that is naturally built in their systems far exceeds anything women will ever have in their lifetime. All this stuff about changing your looks and changing the way you feel inside, all this stuff, a lot of it is people that are wanting to cash in an industry that is manipulating you and telling you, oh, just because you feel a certain way. No, this is what will make you feel 10 times better if you do this to yourself. Keep in mind, they're also manipulated to think that this can be reversed. All these surgeries, all these gross mutilations of what you were biologically given, being a man or a woman, these are unreversible procedures. Do they tell you that? Do the therapists tell you this? Do the surgeons tell you this? It leads me to believe that the way that a lot of folks that end up going through this, or say they want to do this, or just identify a certain way, they never want to dispute that. They never want to confront. They never want to confront that little factoid. This is irreversible. And they say, "Oh, if you go through the hormone therapy, that'll definitely be." No, it's not. No, it's not. Dare I say, this is a scientific fact that even if you as an adult decide to do this yourself, that as a scientific fact, if you were born a man or born a woman, you're that no matter what going forward. You can change something to make you feel like you're something else, make you look like you're something else. But inherently, that is a fact. I have sympathy for those that have absolute mental problems and issues that they are currently dealing with. I have sympathy for you. I want you to get the help that you definitely need. But if it comes down to you, because you did it yourself as an adult, at the age of 18 or older, you went through it. Now you think it's best for children that have not gone through puberty, that they need to then have this stuff done to them before they hit that puberty that we've all been through. That is a definite no. There's a line there that we do not cross. Again, biologically and scientifically as a fact, there are inherent differences between the two. And what happened to Riley Gaines, as I'm putting here in a loop for you to see over and over and over again, that is inherently wrong. For her to have to flee a speaking engagement, for her to have to be confronted in a very violent fashion, that is wrong on every level. I denounce all of it. There is no need for this. You absolutely can speak your mind in a peaceful manner. No qualms about that whatsoever. But to resort to this, to do that to her and anybody else in this fashion, that is a hard no for me. You lose all credibility when you go to that level. And the reason why I'm putting this on a loop is so you can have this ingrained in your mind as you're watching this video, as you're listening to what I'm telling you. Have it ingrained in your mind. This is going way too far. We can have disagreements about what you can and cannot do as an adult. We can have those disagreements. But again, as I said, I have sympathy. You as an adult can make that decision for yourself, but know the facts before you go into doing something like this. The industries that are purporting to do this to save you from any kind of self-harm are not doing it in your best interests. They're doing it for the paycheck. They're doing it for the money. They want to get as much money as they possibly can for doing these procedures and surgeries on anybody and everybody, as many people as they can. They're only doing it for their own self-interests. They're not doing it to help you. If you are thinking and contemplating about doing this, please understand that. Before you do go through with any of this stuff, there are plenty of people out there that have gone through this and have been through everything that you're going through right now. And they say they regret it every day of their life. I have sympathy for them because they were not being told the truth and having someone be honest with them about what they were about to do. It was just here, sign on the dotted line. Pay us that money. Done. Best of luck. Have a good life. I don't want that for you. I want what's best for you. And if this ends up being what's best for you, you must know this is a one-way street. There's no going back from it. But if that's what you want to do as an adult, 18 or over, you have authority over yourself. But know what you're about to get yourself into. I have sympathy for you. I want you to get the help that you need. But know what you're getting into. Go somewhere where it's reputable, that they will follow up with you and help if any complications come along, because that's another thing that happens. Complications do happen quite a bit. And these places that go through with this stuff to help you with these procedures and surgeries, they don't do much follow-up. They toss you to the side. They say, best of luck. We can't do much for you after the fact. But again, you're seeing this on a loop for a reason. I don't want this happening anymore. This ends. All of it needs to stop. We're getting to a point now where more events are going to happen, like what we saw with Nashville. I don't want that anymore. None of you do, I'm sure. Another one could have happened in Colorado. It was thwarted, thankfully. But we're getting to a point now where we can't even have the civil discussions anymore without this happening. And this needs to stop. There is no ill will from what Riley Gaines is saying. There is no ill will from what I am saying to you today. I want what's best for everyone. But leading to this helps no one in the long run. Not even in the short term either. It helps no one at all. To close this out, I 100% support what Riley Gaines is doing. All she is doing is speaking and using her First Amendment rights to tell her story of what she experienced, advocating for the separation of what is clearly men's sports and women's sports, completely separate from each other, and she does not deserve, no one deserves to have this happen just for speaking at an event. This is getting out of hand. It's ridiculous, and it's beyond par for the course that we need to all firmly denounce any and all of it. This is ridiculous. More people are going to get hurt if this doesn't stop, and it doesn't stop immediately. There are plenty of bad actors out there, and they deserve to get called out. Riley's not one of them. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe and hit that bell below to get notified when all the latest videos are posted on this channel, whether it be at YouTube, BitChute, Rumble, or Odyssey. Bookmark westofsportsguy.com for all those social media links, the podcast link. Go to coffeebrandcoffee.com. Also, if you like to get some coffee, tea, or delicious cocoa at coffeebrandcoffee.com, use the promo code 101west or click the link in the description of this video. I have a reaction video that I'm working on of a not so great anniversary that I'm just teasing right now that I will probably be posting in the next episode. Stay tuned for that. I will see you next time.